What would you do if you were faced with real demonic possession? Or if you lived in a house where brutal murders and paranormal phenomena occurred? Today, we will explore two real cases that have left the entire world with chills. From the terrifying story of Anneliese Michel, the possessed young woman who inspired the exorcism of Emily Rose, and the unsolved mysteries of the Amityville house. Are you ready to delve into the unknown? Stay until the end, because these cases will make you question everything you think you know about the paranormal world. We begin with one of the most shocking cases in history, the terrifying case of Anneliese Michel. In 1976, the world was shaken by the case of Anneliese Michel, a young German woman whose suffering and alleged demonic possession inspired films such as The Exorcism of Emily Rose. But what really happened? Was it really a case of possession, or was there something else behind this tragedy? Today, we will explore the true story of Anneliese Michel, her exorcisms, and the recordings that still make us question what we think we know about the paranormal world. Anneliese Michel was born in 1952 in a small town in Germany. She was a devout young woman, raised in a very religious Catholic family. During her teenage years, Anneliese was described as a normal, bright, and lively girl. However, everything changed in 1968, when, at the age of 16, she began experiencing strange episodes. Anneliese suffered from seizures, heard voices, and felt a dark presence around her. Doctors diagnosed her with epilepsy and depression, but treatments didn't seem to help her. Over time, her symptoms worsened. She began refusing food, self-harming, and speaking in voices that were not her own. Desperate, Anneliese's parents sought help from the church. After years of suffering, in 1975, two priests, Father Ernst Alt and Father Arnold Renz, were given permission by the bishop to perform a series of exorcisms. According to the church, Anneliese showed clear signs of demonic possession. She spoke in ancient languages, displayed superhuman strength, and rejected sacred symbols. During the exorcisms, which took place over nearly a year, Anneliese claimed to be possessed by several demons, including Lucifer, Judas Iscariot, and Nero. The recordings of these sessions, which still exist today, are disturbing. In them, one can hear guttural voices, growls, and Latin phrases that Anneliese, a young woman with no theological training, should not have known. On July 1, 1976, Anneliese Michel passed away. She was only 23 years old. The autopsy revealed that she died of malnutrition and dehydration, as she had stopped eating and drinking during the exorcisms. Her case sparked a great deal of controversy. Was it really demonic possession, or did Anneliese suffer from an undiagnosed mental illness? The priests and Anneliese's parents were put on trial for negligence and manslaughter. Although they were found guilty, they received suspended sentences. For many, Anneliese Michel's case remains an unsolved mystery. Anneliese Michel's case not only inspired the film The Exorcism of Emily Rose, but it also reignited the debate over the existence of demonic possession. For some, it is proof that evil exists in the form of supernatural entities. For others, it is a tragic example of how religion and medicine can collide with fatal consequences. Anneliese's exorcism recordings continue to be studied by paranormal experts. Many claim that there is no logical explanation for what is heard on them. Was Anneliese really the victim of dark forces, or was her mind playing a terrible trick on her? The case of Anneliese Michel remains one of the most chilling and controversial in history. Whether you believe in demonic possession or not, her story reminds us that there are phenomena in this world that we still cannot explain. What do you think? Was Anneliese a victim of mental illness, or did something more sinister take hold of her? But if you think demonic possession is the scariest thing that can happen, wait until you hear what happened at a house that became the epicenter of paranormal phenomena. We're talking about the Amityville house. In 1974, a house in Amityville, New York, became the epicenter of one of the most chilling cases in history. First, a horrific murder. Then, a family who fled in terror, claiming the house was haunted. What really happened at the Amityville house? Was it a real case of paranormal activity, or was it all an elaborate hoax? Today, we'll explore the truth behind the world's most famous haunted house. It all began on the night of November 13, 1974, when 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his parents and 4 siblings while they slept. He used a rifle to commit the crimes, and later claimed that voices in the house had made him do it. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue became a nightmare place, marked by tragedy and horror. Ronald was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. During the trial, he claimed he heard voices urging him to kill. Although he was diagnosed with mental problems, many wondered if something darker had influenced his actions. A year after the murders, the house was purchased by George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children. The family moved in December 1975, but only stayed for 28 days. According to the Lutzes, the house was haunted by evil forces that tormented them relentlessly. The phenomena they described included foul smells that appeared out of nowhere, doors that opened and closed on their own, voices and footsteps in the empty hallways. A secret room in the basement, painted red, that emanated a dark energy. Kathy Lutz claimed to have been temporarily possessed, floating above the bed. George claimed to have seen a pig-like creature with red eyes, known as Jody, an entity that supposedly inhabited the house. The Lutzes left the house in January 1976, leaving all their belongings behind. Their story became a media phenomenon and was the basis for the book The Amityville Horror, published in 1977, and the 1979 film of the same name. Although the Lutzes' story captured the public's imagination, many questioned its veracity. Skeptics noted that the Lutzes hired a lawyer and a writer before moving in, suggesting they planned to monetize their experience. Some of the phenomena described, such as the Red Room, were never corroborated by independent investigations. Ronald DeFeo Jr. claimed the Lutzes exaggerated or fabricated the events to make money. Furthermore, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who backed the Lutz story, have also been criticized for exaggerating or fabricating cases to gain fame. Despite the doubts, the Amityville house remains an icon of terror. Today, the Amityville house still stands, although its address was changed to avoid curious people. Over the years, it has been inhabited by several families, none of whom have reported paranormal activity. Was the Lutz experience real or just a publicity stunt? The truth may never be known. What is certain is that the Amityville house has left an indelible mark on popular culture, inspiring books, movies, and endless debates. What do you think? Was it a real case of paranormal activity, or was it all an elaborate hoax? These 2 cases remind us that, in our world, there are phenomena that defy all logical explanation. These stories show us that terror can be more real than we think. Which of these cases shocked you the most? Do you believe in the paranormal, or do you think that everything has a scientific explanation? Leave us your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real horror stories that will keep you awake at night. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Remember, next time you hear a strange noise in your house, think twice. Because terror may be closer than you imagine. Until next time on The Night's Confession.